Hello and welcome once again. It is the UNCW Court Report here on the Seahawk Digital Network alongside Amy Bambanek. I'm Mike Vaccaro, and Coach, it seems like it's been over a month because it has been over a month since we were last here, talking about the Volleyhawks. Obviously, a lot has happened during that span with the hurricane coming through, but during that time, you guys still competing. What has it been like for you and your squad during this time?
Yes, there's 2 weeks that we did have to cancel or postpone of our season, and the team was released to go home during the hurricane and for about a week after the hurricane, and we finally were able to get back together and get back to our season and get back to training. September 23rd, I think, was our first date that we were able to practice all together, and it was great to be able to have a full week together. We stayed up in Raleigh to compete, and we hit the road, and our first game against Delaware was a successful win, and that felt really good to be in competition mode again. And then obviously this past week, having 3 home games that weren't necessarily at home, we're very thankful for the use of Cape Fear Academy and all that they did for us during our competitions that we had, and being able to compete in Wilmington, I think, was still very inspiring to our team. We've had a lot of people out in the community, a lot of our players out in the community helping, so they were just excited to be, in Wilmington competing, even though it's not in Hanover. Nothing beats Hanover. We still want to be back in Hanover, but I think overall, just the girls have been very resilient in how they've handled this whole situation.
And winning matches as well. You've won 8 straight at one point. Currently, 10 of your last 11 have been victories as well. You're talking about Cape Fear Academy, some nice crowds there, and some wins as well. You went 2-1 in a big conference weekend. Your takeaway on that?
Against Charleston, for whatever reason, I think we might have had just a few jitters, and I don't think we played our true UNCW volleyball selves that night. So we're definitely looking for, we'll get to see them towards the end of the season, and we'll be excited about that rematch and be ready to go. Against Northeastern, I thought that we played really solid. Every team in our conference is very competitive and strong, and they all have different strengths and weaknesses. Hofstra was one of the best matches I've ever been able to coach. It was high intensity on both sides. There was a lot of power and big swings on both sides. Our blocking really helped us out against Hofstra, and I think we served very tough as well. I think we had 10 aces against Hofstra, so I'm very proud of the defensive effort that we had in that match.
And you look at your ladies, Anna Moss, Kendall Bender, once again the defensive player of the week this week in the CAA, 2 of your certainly bright spots for the squad.
Yeah, I'm very happy with just the overall development the past couple of years with Kendall and Anna Moss. They're such hard workers, and Kendall being nationally ranked right now, and her blocks per set is pretty amazing. I think she's 13th in the nation. Anna had a career high with 15 kills against Northeastern, and she actually had 30 attempts in that four-game set against Northeastern, and 30 attempts for a middle attacker is quite a bit. That means our passing was on fire that night. We were able to get our middles the ball, which is what we want, and our setters felt confident setting her in all those different situations. So anytime you can have a successful middle attack, it's usually for a very high percentage, and it opens things up for everybody else.
And the RPI has gone up as well. You're in the top 100 currently right now, the 3rd highest RPI in the league, but it gets tough because you're going back on the road once again. Do you feel like, though, the time away from Wilmington has maybe prepared you for these upcoming matches on the road this weekend?
I think that especially the veterans on our team, there's just a little bit more meaning to the season for them. A lot of their teammates and other people around the community that they've known that have been displaced, and we talk about how us not being able to practice in Hanover or compete in Hanover is such a small thing comparative to what the rest of the community is going through. So I think our girls are very good about keeping it in perspective and using that as just a motivation for our team to be as successful as we possibly can, and have a lot of pride in wearing UNCW this season. I think there's a lot of extra pride in having that name on our jersey this season.
And again, only one home match all season long when you take away the Cape Fear Academy matches. Your next one will be next week, a makeup match on Tuesday against William & Mary, and that one looks like maybe in Trask Coliseum as well. So not in Hanover just yet because of everything, but still you have a chance to be back home next week.
Yeah, right now for the match against William & Mary, we are planning to play on Tuesday in Trask at 5:30. But if for some reason Hanover does become available, we're going to jump back in there and take advantage of that.
Well, a lot going on, but a lot of them are wins to talk about, Coach. So getting this team certainly looking good during some difficult times. Wish you the best of luck this weekend. We'll talk about it next week.
Thank you.
For Amy Bambanek, I'm Mike Vaccaro. Thanks for joining us this week. Another edition of the UNCW Court Report here on the Seahawk Digital Network.